Welcome everybody to another episode of The Last Glance. In this episode we hear all about Oliver's second run with the Bucks and his big retirement. We will hear from many special guests, and this will be a great episode. Oliver, what brought you back to the Bucks? Well, the 10th anniversary of my parents' death was soon, so I joined the Bucks in their memory. That's why I came back to the Bucks. I did it for them because I knew it was the right thing to do. So that's what I did. Was leaving the Wizards a hard thing to do since you were so successful there? Of course it was, The Wizards, they were like family to me, The Bucks are the first ones to bring me in, but then, the Wizards were the ones to really show me the way. Ultimately at the end of the day, that was a very, very hard decision to do what I did, to leave a team that just showed me such unbelievable respect. Oliver was such a team player, it was very, very good to see. It was good to see somebody like that. You're like, well, people are such a team player, they don't come along this often, but seeing somebody like Oliver do it, that was great to see. I only came on for the second half of his run, but Oliver, all around great guy, He could really do whatever he put his mind to, and it was something very interesting. Seeing this guy, it's like, I can't really score or whatever, but seeing this guy pick up other things really well, that makes for a really good player. So Oliver, he was not as bad as everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted to make him out to be. I think he did his best when he had to. Now off camera, I just showed you what Samuel and Andrew had to say about you. How does that make you feel? Makes me feel pretty good, I mean, again, it's people kind of realizing what, I can do. And, to hear somebody say that I'm good is all I really need, because I've never thought a day in my career since UCLA that I was good at all. So to hear people say I was good, it's refreshing, It keeps me motivated. It keeps me wanting to push forward, And again, the only reason that I was even on a team with any of these guys is because I wanted to do it for my parents. I was determined. To, be on the Bucks for them, to do this for them. And I'm very, very glad that the Wizards understood that when I left them, because I was very scared that I'd be burning bridges by leaving. Luckily, the Bucks accepted me with open arms. I got my number 3 back. It was all great. So after a several year-long deal with Air Jordan, the deal expired, and then you signed with Reebok. Why is that? Well, I signed with Reebok because I want to do something new. I want to do something fresh. And they gave me a lot of promises. One of them we'll get to a little bit later, but they helped me start something, which, like I said, we'll get to later. But I mean, a lot of guys have those Nike contracts, the Air Jordan contracts, and to do something different out there feels really good. It feels really good to do something that nobody else is doing. So all in all, felt kind of happy, that I got to wear different shoes. I got to do something different. And I mean, you're the big time now. You're a made name. People know your name around the world, and giving this brand Reebok some big attention is something very interesting. And sure, maybe I'm known for all the wrong reasons because I'm a bad player or whatever. but a reason is a reason, am I right? And it's good marketing for them. So, did you find everybody on the team to be a very good teammate, or did you find anybody to be bad? I thought everybody was good, everybody was nice to me, everybody contributed when we were on the court. It was all good. It was all good between everybody. I'll tell you, it's a very interesting thing, this whole, the team. The team is always good. Bucks have always had a good dynamic as long as I've been there. I know his last year, the first time he was there, wasn't so good, but the team stuck together. The team was making sure they did everything right, and it was always great to see every single time. They always came through. 2 games into your final season on the Bucks, you announced your first ever retirement. Why did you do that? Well, I just felt obligated, I felt like I did everything I needed to do. I played for a lot of great teams. I did a lot of great things. I went back to the Bucks. I'm like, well, I went back to my roots. This is what I belong doing. And I went back to them. I'm like, all right, 2 games in my last season there. I'm like, all right, I came back here for my parents, and I did that. I think it's time I hang it up. Man, Oliver announcing that retirement. I mean, morale was low on that team for quite a few games. Yeah, he announced it after the second game, and I was like, well, good for you, man. You've made your millions. You played. You came back here. He always said he came back to the Bucks for his parents. I thought it was a pretty good way to end, and I was very glad he got to do that. Now, Adam, you're the NBA commissioner, so you've seen your fair share of retirements. How does it feel seeing all these players retire? Well, it feels sad, at the end of the day, you see all these greats retire, and Oliver, but it's just a part of life, they made their impact, they gotta go, away eventually. Michael Jordan couldn't play basketball forever. I mean, maybe he could have, and of course, I wasn't the commissioner when he was playing, but he was great to see on the TV, that is for sure. And, guys like LeBron James, when he retires, that's going to be a real depressing day. Kobe retiring, that was sad. Also his death, that was also very sad. I hope Kobe and his daughter are doing all right up there. But seeing a very good player retire, it's very sad, but it's part of business. Fans definitely take it harder than I do. You can see my fair share, so yeah. When you first retired, did you think it would be for good? Absolutely. I thought when I retired I was done, but lo and behold, I came back. So in those 2 years that you were retired, you said you did something with Reebok. Can you tell us about that? Certainly. Me and Reebok started a food bank called Oliver's Food Bank. Really original name. And it was sponsored by Reebok. Me and Reebok did all the work we could, and this is what I did for the 2 years I was retired. I put all my money into that. We had 3 locations. Milwaukee, right outside of LA, so not actually LA. Hard place to get into. And the town I grew up in. So, all in all, you have all 3 of these locations, and it's just a real process, and apparently I helped more than 100,000 people get food. So, a very, very touching, very, very touching moment, And then 100,000 was only in the first year. The second year it was 200,000, and it's still open to this day. So all 3 locations are still open. I've been playing, but I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that Reebok came through, So again, that is why I'm also very proud to be wearing Reebok as we speak. Now, Carl, did you see Oliver's retirement coming? To be honest, I didn't. I didn't see the retirement coming. It came entirely from left field, you know. I just didn't see it coming, you know. I really don't think anybody did. It just came out of nowhere, you know. It just came entirely out of nowhere. But he did a lot of good things. What ultimately brought you back to the NBA? I don't know. I just had this itch. And then I received the phone call. Who was the phone call from, and what was it about? So I got a call from Toronto, and Toronto's the guy, you know. I know you haven't played in a while, but, you know, if you have any interest, just hit us up, you know, if you want the coaching or whatever. Doesn't matter. So I get that call. I listen to voicemail. I debate for 3 hours. I'm like, all right, you know, I'll be there tomorrow. I go there. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to be a player. And that's all that happened. Were you happy that Oliver was coming back to the NBA or no? I was happy for him, but at the same time, I did not think it was a good idea. I thought that him staying retired was a very good thing for him. He did so much retired that he did not do previously in his life. He found a wife, he got married, you know, and I mean, currently she is pregnant with a child, so, you know, congratulations. Congratulations for Oliver. He's going to have a little Oliver. I don't know what the name's going to be. Knowing him, it might be little Oliver, to be honest. But I wasn't too happy because I felt like he truly found himself helping people, you know, and you know, on his time retired. But then he comes back to the NBA, you know, for like one last run. He's like one last contract, you know. That's what I'm here for. And to be honest, I just didn't like it. I supported him, of course, because that's what I had to do, but I didn't like it. So you met your wife during retirement. Was she all right with you coming back to the NBA or what? Absolutely. You know, she's always my biggest supporter. You know, she was apparently she used to watch me in college, but she kind of fell out of basketball. So it was a whole very interesting thing. And you know, she's not any type of famous person or anything. She's just, you know, she's just a person, and it is such a relaxing thing to be with somebody just not in the public eye because they're your getaway and whatnot. And I mean, I've officially already played my last game on the Raptors because they did not make we did not make the playoffs this year, unfortunately. So I've truly had my last glance at basketball, but she was always very supportive, and I appreciated it all the way. But we'll get to the Raptors next time, I'm sure. Thanks for watching another great episode of The Last Glance. Next week, we will have our final episode where we will talk about Oliver and the Toronto Raptors.